Hello my friend, welcome to my channel. My name is Jordan and I'm a certified prenatal yoga instructor. In this video we are going to be working our core. It is so important to have a strong core during pregnancy and especially for labor, but it is even more important to work your core the safe, correct way. To avoid getting diastasis recti, which is the muscles down the center splitting apart from each other. We're going to do everything we can to avoid that during pregnancy. And if you're new to yoga, I encourage you to check out my beginner prenatal yoga class that I have linked up above, as well as at the end of this video and in the description box, because I give you all of the information, all of the juicy stuff you need to know about prenatal yoga in that video. So if that is for you, go ahead and check that out first. But otherwise, let's just jump right into it. If you'd like to have a blanket or something beneath your knees just to add that little extra bit of cushion, you can grab something like that really quick. But we are going to start today in child's pose. So just take the knees wide and slowly lower all the way down. Finding a comfortable, spacious child's pose. You can take your elbows as wide as your mat, your arms sort of in a diamond shape above your head. And let your forehead meet the mat. Bring your attention to your breath. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Inhaling, getting wider. Your ribs moving away from each other. Exhale. Draw baby in, just gently, squeezing the air out. A couple more deep breaths on your own. Pressing up into all fours, shoulders stacking over wrists, hips over knees. Spread your fingertips wide and press in to each finger. It's going to keep the pressure out of your wrists. Inhale, shine the heart forward, tailbone straight back. Gently keeping baby hugged in. We're not dropping our belly too much here for our cat pose or cow pose. Then exhale, round your back into cat. Letting the head fall. Pressing your tailbone down to the space between your knees. Inhaling to cow, keeping that core engaged. Exhale to cat. Rounding into a deep C shape. Inhaling one more time to cow. Broadening across the chest. And exhale to cat. Returning to a neutral tabletop position. We're going to slowly lift our left heel up towards the sky. Gently hugging baby in here, keeping the core strong. And right arm can come up if you feel stable. Make sure all 5 toes are facing down and it's the very back of your heel that is pointing up rather than opening up the hips. Keeping the hips square, neutral to the ground, just lifting straight from the back of the heel. Slowly lower. Gonna lift the right heel up towards the sky, flexing through the foot. Pinky toe spirals down. Left arm lifts. Thumb up towards the sky. Gently hugging baby in. Long line of energy from your back heel all the way out through the crown of your head. and lower. We're going to switch to the other side. You can lift both at the same time now. Switch sides. Inhaling on the lift. Exhale, engage the core. Inhale, long line of energy. Exhale, lower. One more time on each side. And switch. Good. Roll out the wrists, kind of stretch them a little bit if you need to. Next, we're going to set up for plank. If you are newer to this type of movement, I encourage you to stay on your knees. From all fours, you can just send your weight forward so that the crown of your head down through your knees is a nice, straight, long line of energy. Otherwise, you can come into a full plank up on your feet, spreading the fingertips wide, pressing into the fingertips, being gentle to our wrists here. Making sure our belly isn't sagging down. You want to keep that core engaged and up. I'd rather see a little bit of a booty pop than a belly sag if you're going to go one way or the other. I would err on the side of the booty pop. Good. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Straight into down dog. You can shorten your stance. Bring your feet as wide as your mat. Your hands as wide as your mat. Fingertips spread wide. Don't be afraid to generously bend the knees. Your heels don't have to touch the mat here. Pressing through your hands, creating a nice, strong, engaged core. Imagine sending your torso towards your thighs. Long, straight line here. Big inhale. Exhale. Step the right foot forward to the outside of your right hand. So we're taking a nice, wide, low lunge. Rather than sink into our deepest low lunge that we can, back off a little bit and imagine scissoring your inner thighs together, hugging them towards the midline here. Back thigh engaged here, legs super strong. You can drop onto the back knee and find a lizard pose. So again, we don't need to go as deep as possible. Just think about keeping those legs engaged, those inner thighs hugging towards each other. Feeling a nice little stretch across the left hip here. Good. Bring your hands back to the center, stepping your right foot back to plank. And setting up for the same thing on the second side. You can always drop to your knees if it begins to feel like too much here. You can do it. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth like you're blowing on soup. Good. Press back to down dog. Pressing through the fingertips. Strong torso. Send your tailbone to the back. Up towards the ceiling. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand for for a wide low lunge. Adjusting your hands as needed. Again, think about squeezing those inner thighs towards the midline, hugging them together. Nice strong back leg, that quad should be engaged. And even here, think about gently turning your core on, hugging baby in. Good. Dropping your back knee and finding a lizard pose. But placing more attention on stabilizing the pelvis and drawing those inner thighs together. Bringing the hands back to center, stepping your foot back to all fours, quickly rolling out the wrists before our last plank. I know this is a lot on our hands in this practice. Good. Fingers super, super wide, like you're trying to palm and grip a basketball. Setting up for our last plank here. Again, you can drop to your knees if needed. Hugging baby up and in. Gaze stays at the floor, neutral neck. Return to inhaling through the nose for 4, exhaling out the mouth for 6. You're so, so strong. Do it for your baby. One last breath. 3, 2, 1. Good. Dropping into child's pose. Taking the knees wide. Sitting back. As you let your torso melt forward, you can roll your wrists, maybe behind your head. Good. Pressing up to all fours, and we're going to send our seat over to the side and swing our legs out in front of us. So we're going to set up for a supported boat pose. This is another great way you can work your core during pregnancy. So bring your hands behind your thighs, then slowly lower your torso partway, just enough so that your core will turn on. During pregnancy, we don't want to be moving against gravity in any kind of crunch, but we are just holding. This is a static movement. Rather than round our back here, imagine shining your heart up towards the ceiling, keeping your hands behind your thighs just for that extra support. Good. You can release, kind of stretch forward a little bit if you need to. And we'll do that one more time. Grabbing behind your thighs, slowly lowering just to the point of kind of feeling your core muscles turn on. And then imagine a string pulling your heart up towards the ceiling. Good. Coming back up, you can stretch forward or take any last little movement that you need to. Then we're going to set up for Shavasana on our left side. So if you have a pillow that you want to put between your legs, that feels really great and comfortable. And again, you can do this without props, but it feels a lot nicer if you've just got some pillows or something. Slowly lowering over onto your left side, something under your head if that feels good. You can bring your hand or both hands to your baby. Close the eyes. And just spend the next 60 seconds or so connecting with your baby before the busyness of the rest of the day, just in total stillness. If you have time, I encourage you to pause the video and stay here as long as you can. But when you are ready, you can remove the bolster pillow from between your legs if you've got one, and slowly press yourself up with your hands into a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today for this prenatal core focused yoga practice. I am so honored that you're spending any part of your beautiful pregnancy with me. You are so strong, Mama. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm sending you so much love. Namaste.